It's we the people. It's we the people. It's we the people. It's we the people. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to We the People. This is the American Soccer Podcast, in which you're going to get to know everything that you need to know about the U.S. men's national team. I'm Clayton, and I'm a rapper.
I'm Ty. I am losing my mind.
Losing his fucking mind. Motherfucking classic? Is this a motherfucking classic?
It's a classic.
Folks, Bruce Arena came out. So how to introduce this? This is the after the game hangout. I assume you all just watched the game with us together. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on this here stream of ours. Ty, what's your first impressions?
You'd have to say it was a good performance. I was pretty disappointed that they didn't use their subs a little more aggressively to try to win the game because contrary to popular wisdom, conventional wisdom, I believe that even in a circumstance where you would be happy with a point, the fact that you get to the 80th minute with a tied score represents an opportunity to get 3 points. And so I would have brought on Jordan Morris.
I would have liked to have seen Morris instead of Altidore. Altidore does not know how to be a fucking power sub. That's not his shit.
He does not. And it is pretty surprising given that they took off Dempsey after 60 minutes against Trinidad. It felt like that move was like setting up for him to play a significant role against Mexico.
Well, and I wonder if that's why Dempsey was so pissed, was because he knew that he wasn't going to play versus Mexico and that was his chance to fucking break or get the record or whatever.
Yes, yeah. But you know, in general, a point is one.
A point is a point. How Bruce Arena is this shit? So two things that we must address very quickly before we move any further. One, the formation, and two, Michael Bradley's goal. Formation. I wish I could bump
what the hell?
Beyonce's Formation right now.
We were talking before the game kicked off. This was one of the most surprising pre-games I've ever experienced for the U.S.
I cannot believe. So where the fuck is my shit?
Ream?
So it's Omar Galaxy, Omar Gonzalez with Jeff Cameron and Tim Ream.
Holy
we have Yedlin on the right. We have DeMarcus Beasley on the left. We have Michael Bradley and Kellen Acosta, Ty's Pookie baby. And then up front on the left, we have Pulisic, the number 10, the Wunderkind, the Wonder Boy, our precious, our gem, our jewel. And then we had Bobby Wood and big surprise here, Bobby Oud, the Oudster, Bobby Oud. And big surprise here, Paulie Areola Nips. Reach out to us on Twitter at WTP Pod, Paulie Areola Nips. We got a motherfucking care package for you.
Unfortunately, he lives at home. He lives at home in San Diego, so it's not going to be as impactful.
Well, yeah, maybe there must be something that we can do for you. We here at We the People want to do something for you, Paulie Areola Nips. Although, let's maybe dive in. Let's address this formation. What were your thoughts? Did you think it was going to work? Did it work?
No. Yes.
Didn't think it was going to work, did work. This was a very organized U.S. team.
Yeah.
Very organized. The blocks were there. I wouldn't mind seeing this team play more like this all the time. Why save this for when we're playing a good team, when we could have organized blocks with decent attacks here and there? I think this is a better fit. This is a better fit for us. Having Bradley and Acosta do kind of a dual stopper thing.
I just watched the goal.
Out of control. Let's talk about the goal. Out of control. Oh my God, Michael Bradley. So we discussed Michael Bradley. We said it's sad that he didn't have any of these star power moments since the 2014 World Cup or whatever. And I said my read on Bradley going into this game was, we have no reason to think that Bradley's going to shit the bed.
Indeed, he did
I
not.
think I may have underestimated what Bradley had in store for us. This was indeed a Bradley classic. I mean, he had good passes, he had good interceptions, he had a killer mentality. Absolutely crushed. And this goal is just a beauty. So if somehow you're just tuning into this stream to get an update on what happened in the game, I'll tell you. And if you're just watching, I'll give you a little verbal replay of what happened. So it's kind of bouncing around the halfway line, and Bradley picks it off. So his first touch is picking off like the ball from a Mexican player's first touch, and they had just gotten a pass sent to them. So his first touch sends it in front of him 10 to 15 yards. His second touch is a laces chip. I want to say laces chip that dipped over Ochoa in just scintillating, immaculating stuff. Just gorgeous.
Immaculating, baby.
Gorgeous.
Not a word.
Gorgeous. It's so good you have to make up words for it. and hey, where in all the discussion about the altitude, how was the altitude not mentioned after this goal?
Yeah, right. So if the altitude stopped Kenwin Jones the other day, the altitude made this goal.
Yeah, exactly.
No longer apply.
Everybody's imagination just happens. And Kenwin Jones's mind was too weak.
It is completely immaculating.
That's right. That's the definition of immaculating. It's when your imagination lines up with reality perfectly. And that's what Michael Bradley did. He bent the rules of the Matrix with this goal. Gorgeous goal. Good on you, Michael Bradley. Welcome back. Maybe he just needed a coach that trusted him. Maybe he needed a coach that could give him those good hugs.
He almost scored twice.
He almost scored twice, and the second one was as legendary of a chance as the first. However, to be fair, Mexico had a chance right off the post immediately before it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So my overall first impression is this felt like a 50-50 match. We ceded possession.
It did. In certain ways. It was like Atletico style 50-50, like zero possession.
No joke. That's exactly what the tactics were. It was to say, okay, let them have crosses, let them have possession, let them have, moments out wide. And I think the main tactic was to prevent them from having possession in the middle. And you saw the one moment where they converted was when they were able to move the ball from wide that the U.S. was conceding to the middle. And for the most part, when they had the ball out wide, it ended up in ineffectual crosses. So I think the U.S. game plan was strong and well executed. I am amazed in some part that this 5 at the back thing worked after
Can't believe it worked.
It did not work in the home leg. It's kind of a weird. I guess it's
the mentality was so there for this game too. The players were up for it and they bought into the system because of that, and they just went all in on Bruce Arena's plan. And it played out. It played out okay, man. When I guess tomorrow at some point we'll be recording our full-on review of this game. This is just our quick takes. I desperately want to go all the way in on this right here and now, but we'll save it.
What a game.
What a game. What a motherfucking game. It's a classic. It's another classic.
Did you hear them talking about this?
Say it again.
People leaving the game early?
I could not believe. But this is exactly what you predicted with this environment. Is the fickle nature of this crowd is just brutal, and I can't imagine being one of those Mexican players.
That was what a fantastic performance. We
did it. I am so proud of Bruce Arena.
We did
He's doing it.
I don't know.
He's doing it. I would. Oh man, so much to talk about. So fucking much.
And thank God Graham Zusi was there in the 92nd minute to lock down.
to be a slow sub. However, I love the sly move of Bruce. Yeah, slow subbing.
Getting prepped for that 1 minute on the field.
I'm slow subbing. I love that. I love that.
You could go out there in a wheelchair and have the effect that Graham Zusi had.
That's right. That's right. He does it every time. He's just a good leader. He's a training ground presence. He's a veteran presence.
They should have brought on DeMarcus Beasley for moral support. Oh wait!
Oh wait a second.
DeMarcus Beasley played 90 minutes.
90 mins. Career-ending injuries thrice in this match. 3 career Scarab Magic still going strong. I was so sure the Scarab Magic was wearing off at certain points in this game, but I was proven wrong every time. The creams made with mummified boar skin that he's applying to his knees. He has a little packets that he holds in his armpits until something breaks, and then he rubs it on there.
He has to keep his creams. I mean, he's doing something right. He's doing something right. I mean,
how is and when Tuki Lozano switches over to the right, I'm like, oh no, DeMarcus Beasley is fucked, and he totally held it down. He was even as convincing at least as Yedlin.
Dude held it down. I mean, I remember a certain game against Portugal where DeMarcus Beasley held it down at left back for 90 plus minutes against Cristiano Ronaldo. And then eventually relented in the last like 30 seconds of the game. Give up a goal. I was afraid of a repeat there where it was like the pumpkin turning into a carriage.
Yeah, the Scarab Magic wears off eventually. We just hope it's after the game ends.
That's the thing about Scarab Magic.
That's the catch.
Sometimes it's 90. Sometimes it's 95 minutes. Sometimes it's 85 minutes. They cannot promise.
Yeah, and by the way, the origins of the Scarab Magic have nothing to do with soccer. It's just a coincidence that it lands around but not past 90 minutes.
Right, exactly. It's just the general time frame. So for those of you who are just joining us,
hello newcomers, welcome.
We the people. This is the American Soccer Podcast, where we get to know everything that
you need to know
about the USMNT.
I'm Clayton.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Clayton. I'm a rapper.
Chat with us. Ask us questions. We're happy to ask questions.
We're here just hanging out. We just watched this game with y'all.
We did. This was a roller coaster.
It sure was.
An epic.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
It was not your average
No, this
Azteca where we're just like, shot after shot, swinging legs in the air. It felt so even. It felt like
this was two very good teams going head to head in various places on the field, and it had ups and downs. It went back and forth. We had very little possession, but because of the way in which this team played, I think we really made this a fucking classic. And I'll say it again, it's a classic.
As Bruce put it, when we had a possession advantage and we're not converting, possession means nothing.
Possession means nothing.
The majority of the possession that the Mexican team had was passing around in the back, just holding possession for possession's sake, and it didn't come to anything. And that's exactly the effect that Bruce is talking about.
Right. And so for Bruce, he's been focused on this. Do you think Bruce saw in the earlier matches when he brought this out for, I'd say, like 45 minutes or a little less? Do you think he saw what he wanted to see, or do you think it was irrelevant? Was he always going to go with this formation?
I don't know. This feels like something that he must have planned from the outset, because they went through this whole rigmarole with the freaking tents around the bed and also,
everything seems very well thought out. It was
at altitude. The World Cup qualifier at altitude, just to play this game at altitude, and then they only used 4 of the starters.
Well, I mean,
the game was the same team as the Trinidad game, and then they just totally throw everything out. So it was like, why are we sleeping in tents? Why don't we just roll up? Because if we're gonna throw a totally new team out there,
Well, the tents are for everybody, right? That's like a micro advantage. They just got money now. That's all.
we got money.
The tents are just a sign that they got money now. I think that's a small part of the plan. The real part of the plan, I think, is planting an unseen lineup and planning well for it and training well for it. And I don't know Bruce very well. I don't know Bruce very well personally. Although I'd like to, I'd very much like to.
You might.
I don't, and I might soon.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if there's some part of him that went into these qualifiers saying like, man, everybody really thinks I'm like just gonna do the same old shit every single time. And I wonder if that perception of him was so prevalent and so clear that he thought maybe this is an opportunity for me to surprise people.
He set up this hoodwink, and
it's excellent.
Before we continue, Kwame's in the chat.
Kwamdas, the brother Kwamdas.
Because we need you.
We need you, Kwam.
And he says, agreed, this was well planned. It seems like a crazy tactic that Bruce thought of. And did you see, like, were you on social media before the match at all? Did you see this?
No, sir. I live beneath a rock in Seattle.
Yeah, you do. You're more likely to be reading Socrates.
That's right.
Or watching Socrates.
So fucking true, though.
Those are the two
those are my two.
Socrates
or Socrates. And sometimes I mix one up for the other, and I get way less wise and less entertained on the soccer field.
Reading, watching. So it was about, I would say, 4 hours before the match. They released this like 1 minute clip of Bruce talking to Jenny Taft, the sideline.
Okay, all right.
Saying there may be as many as 7 changes tonight. Significant turnover from the match against Trinidad. We're gonna, you may see some surprises tonight.
Dude, and did we ever? And I saw a clip of him too listing off all the 7 changes. Like he looked like, when he was listing off the changes, he looked like a 7-year-old listing off different rocks he had found in the forest.
Sure, or my son discussed. Yeah, trains.
I got this round one, and it's triangular and orange.
That's Paul Areola.
I got this one. It's got some moss on it.
Definitely Beasley.
I got this one, and it's black, and it looks like it's from the moon. Wait, careful with your answer to that. Yeah. So, anyways.
Woof.
What a classic. What a goddamn classic. Such an honor to be a part of it. So glad and proud to be following this team as everybody discovers Christian Pulisic. Maybe a little bit of a life lesson for the young man. Maybe a little bit of a
yeah, what do we think?
So I think what I really think is that he had a really good game, a gorgeous game given the circumstance. So he had 2 outstanding moments. One of them was like a messy like chip over and the other, I forget what it was right now, and I'll search it in my notes for the full show tomorrow. But he fucking like had 2 gorgeous moments that really showed his talent, and that's all he was going to get in this game. So did he score? No. Did he turn the tide of the fucking game? No. However, he was a constant threat, and every time he got on the ball, he took 2 or 3 Mexican players to stop him, and he did the defensive work well. You can't underestimate that. Like this is a young man. It's like LeBron's defense doesn't get enough attention. This guy can defend, and so I don't think it's a star-making moment for him, but I think that's okay because that's good for his emotional development to just put in a shift. But as if I'm his coach or his teammate, I'm saying, dude, good game. You did your shit. You still crushed. Like, high five.
So luckily, he has built up enough of a rep that he can have a game where his most important influence is his reputation. because I thought that was the way it was in this match. He
Ooh, that's well said, and that's a little more cutting, a little more biting.
well, it's biting, but it's also it's one of those things in sports that is undervalued. Is that someone like take Steph Curry? Steph Curry's reputation precedes him, and so when he goes into games, he causes the defense to shift in a way that they otherwise wouldn't shift. You know, someone like Mike Trout is the same way. Like there are accommodations that you make when you're playing against one of these elite players that is different. And I think you saw a couple times this match, you saw little like off the ball, like quiet moments of sort of recognition from the Mexican players that Pulisic was someone that they respected. And this is
true. This is true. It was nice to see that, and I think that there I saw a few smiles in this game. I saw an Areola smile, you know. I saw a Pauly Nips smile.
It felt like a really normal game for the US.
That's right. So and there was something in that Omar Galaxy interview before the game. Omar Gonzalez, for any newcomers. Omar Galaxy was saying that like the game has changed, the rivalry has changed a little bit, and it's a little bit less about the fist fights and a little bit, not that there were ever actual fist fights, but a little bit less about that shit and a little bit more about the game, and that was true in this game. And I'm proud of both teams. Like I've stated on the show that I think that the Mexican team is an exciting, awesome, cool ass team, and I'm proud that we fucking went in there and we also were an exciting, cool ass team.
Yeah, this was great. Brenda says, Clay, when are you letting the Bruce loose from your box? We have not announced any plans to bring Bruce on the show.
See, that's a very interesting conspiracy theory, Brenda. Yeah. That's a very interesting interpretation.
Neither confirm nor deny that Bruce is an applicant for CJ's.
I'm not going to say that this is not the first time I've heard this conspiracy theory.
And Kwame says he thought Pulisic had a solid game, but that the other two up top didn't know how to interplay with him very well. That's something we've seen from Wood a lot. But
Areola was in Areola land.
Is a total wild card.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, how do you start this guy? Like
how the fuck? So this is another thing in which I wonder if Bruce is like. But this I think is more emotional. Like I wonder if Bruce he's like, I want to play Beasley, so I'm gonna give him one, and he fucking throws Areola out there.
God damn it, dude! I cannot get over the fact that DeMarcus Beasley just started the Azteca qualifier.
It's out of control. The man is never ending. He's the never ending story.
Talk about dark scarab necromancy.
Creams and potions and puffs of smoke. He had 3 in this one game.
Yeah, which is common for him. He has several career.
He bounces back up like the mummy.
Bounces back up.
So yeah, I agree. I agree with the Kwamdas that that Pulisic didn't have a really strong partnership up front there, and I wonder if Clint Dempsey could have given him that. Although I can see how the pace of this game doesn't favor playing a Clint Dempsey, and it was obvious when Josie came on that he really wasn't fit for this either, which I very much agree with. I'm so glad that he didn't play more than he did.
It's not like we were like pumping balls into the box and having like ricochets around the box and like somebody needed to finish those. You know, it was that we needed someone to be creating a couple more chances. I think the best chances that we had were set pieces, and Omar Galaxy was sorely lacking.
Oh, 2 major misses from our boy Omar Galaxy, although to his credit, put in a very solid defensive header performance.
Very solid.
So not bad headers all around. It was just when he thought he was going to score and you know, make his mama proud.
And speaking of solid defense, Jeff Cameron was massive.
So it was Cameron with the quick feet and Galaxy with the strong heads, and between the two of them, they were very solid. And imagine if John Brooks was in there, I don't know so much.
Ream was also there.
Yeah, so about that, Tim Ream is like the saddest story. He's like impossible to. He's the dude you brown out every time you go drinking, and it's like, oh yeah, Tim was there. No, I remember that now. I totally remember that now.
You look at the photos, you're like,
I didn't forget it. I Tim, good on you getting the start. I think it was a good choice. He's a good third in a center back of three. Although I look forward to the day when we have Cameron Carter-Vickers or a more mature, solid John Brooks. However, Gonzalez used to have a lot of those problems that John Brooks has been having, and so he's showing that it's possible to outgrow that shit, and he did a really good job. I wish Nagbe got to start instead of Nips, and I love you, Nips. I got a care package for you, but I just think Nagbe was on such a roll and would have been so helpful in this game.
Yeah, and the Nagbe thing. Oh man, he was clearly the preferred sub, the planned sub, and came on in like the 62nd or something.
Yeah, pretty early. I think.
I think he'd done much earlier. I would have definitely thought about it in the 50s.
Ty is a historically aggressive subber.
I'm an aggressive subber.
Yeah, he wants to get them shits right in there. It's some sort of mathematical theory. I don't know.
Yeah, it's some sort of like
some freakonomics shit.
It's not dark scarab necromancy. It's like Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking computer hacking shit.
Want computer hacker shit. I want subs in like the 30th minute.
Yeah,
I don't think subs should play 30 minutes. I think subs should play 60 minutes because they'll never expect that.
Yeah, another one of the strategies Ty has brought to the table is simply having another player on the field. that one was accidental, but I'm putting it back on the record.
No, well, all I was doing was quoting Pep Guardiola's. So I think. We definitely should have tried that. It felt at times like we had an extra man in this game because that three at the back has that effect. When you have those three center backs, it's like when the rest of the team is able to force the opposition to go wide, it's awesome because there's no chance that they're going to convert a cross into the middle when you have three center backs. It's like.
That's right. And so it was all up to Mexico to somehow break that down with creative flicks and touches and figure that out. And it's not that they didn't threaten, but it wasn't convincing. Like it was a match. So they had their opportunities, but they were not carving us up. We weren't caught naked too many times.
Yeah, it felt like a really even match, and I was not expecting that one iota.
Not expecting that at all. So what was one even duel in this match was and fascinating to watch was Chucky Lozano versus DeAndre Yedlin.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
What a joy! What a joy! Because we didn't necessarily expect Chucky Lozano to start.
Right.
And so to see him start.
Tecatito apparently personal issues. We're discussing what personal issues exactly means. It could be anywhere from severe drug addiction to doesn't like the rain. It's somewhere. It could be any one of those many things in between there. It's almost like the most generic possible thing you can say for why it's basically someone's like, hey, why isn't that guy here? You may as well say, please do not ask me that question. He's having some personal issues right now. He could be turning tricks on the street, or he could just be freaking out because of James Comey's testimony.
So we don't know why that happened, but we discussed in the preview show that if Mexico has an Achilles heel, it's their own ability to stay kind of organized. What's the word I'm looking for? Their own ability to not implode in off the field issues.
Yes, yeah, and they. I don't know. I felt like both teams played really well today. I thought it was like a solid, fun soccer game.
It was dope. It was dope. I'm not used to it, and it was dope.
Yeah,
we have talent. We have a good coach.
From it feeling like, God, we suck, And we played so well. It was like at the end of the game, I was like, I just was like proud of both teams. So like, good for you guys. Good effort. Whatever, champ.
You guys want to do a little league high five circle at the end of this shit? Because we are killing game right now. We're crushing game.
High five. I still don't understand the physics of there's like some sort of underneath high five that you do.
The double windmill, the dragon strike.
Yeah,
You get them down from under here.
Oh man, yeah, they should have orange slices. They deserve it.
Yeah, let's bring out the orange slices. Let's go to White Castle, guys.
Thank you everyone for joining us on the live stream. This is so fun to do. I have so many emotions right now. It's like so good to express.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thanks to the Kwamdas and Brenda for joining in on the conversation. You guys are super rad. Dudes, find us. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts, I suppose. We're called We the People. If you're new to this whole thing, or if you're watching this on our YouTube channel after the fact, we do basically this, and it's wonderful. And join us. And this team is awesome, and you should follow it. So We the People.
You should. So wait. So I was so caught up in the game that I did not even comprehend where this leaves us.
So 1 point. We got a point.
Got 1 point.
Fourth, third.
You got 1 point from a draw. Okay.
You get a point.
No, you get -2 points. So we only lost the 2 points tonight.
That's
As
right.
we discussed on We the People, this is our point scale is that a win is 0.
So it's complicated.
-2, and a loss is -3, and that's to prevent the phrase that kills me, which is get a result.
Okay, so this is
Get a result.
you want to go there? You want to go down this route?
Okay,
Do we really want to go there?
Even when it comes to Azteca, when you get into the 80th minute and it's 1-1, a draw is a negative thing for both teams. And you should go all out to win the game. You should be bringing on Jordan Morris.
The simple way to understand the theory is that the reason that they made a tie just 1 point to make it a little more favorable to play attacking soccer, to make it a better entertaining spectacle. And just from that little nugget of truth, we have extrapolated so many other ways of phrasing this, but essentially it just means that you should play to win, because if you're going to get 1 point or no points, they're kind of the same shit. You know, they're not that far away from each other, but 1 point and 2 points, really big difference, really fucking big difference.
So principle that a draw is 1 point better than a loss, but a win is 2 points better than a draw.
Yeah. Donuts, everybody. So even if you risk losing at the Azteca, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that happens in the coaching, that happens in the preparation, and that happens on the field. And Michael Bradley and Christian Pulisic both showed today that they have that star quality ability to push a team forward into that winning mentality under difficult circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brenda in the chat says, love you guys. # awesome. You are # awesome, Brenda.
You are # awesome, Brenda. Brenda, you are # awesome.
Thank you for joining us. It's so fun. It's so fun. I love watching games with this community of WTP heads.
Yeah, I was wearing my shit around Seattle today and like nodding heads. Yo.
Yeah, exactly. What's the vibe in here in New Jersey? You would hardly notice, even though New Jersey has produced like a fifth of the national team, you would hardly notice.
Tim Howard and a significant portion of the Italian national team as well.
So yeah, what's the vibe in Seattle?
So
today?
the vibe is light. It's light. There were just a couple people wearing shit. It's not a big deal. However, in my circle, I have at least one friend who cared and is watching it.
Yeah.
And is watching with his brother, Kevin Tower, who you know, Ty.
Yeah. K-Dot.
So the vibe is light. I got to be honest with you. The vibe in general for soccer here is amazing. The Sounders culture is incredible. And that's one of the ways me and K-Dot became friends. But didn't see a whole lot of Nat support. Although I was under my rock in my hole, so I wouldn't be surprised if I was out and about in the bars.
Yeah, big crowd. Yeah, it's
right.
Like, oh, man, I feel like isn't this like exciting and fun?
This is huge. This is huge, and this is going to be big. And even in the game versus Trinidad, people were talking about Christian Pulisic, and this is expanding beyond our little niche network that we've built here. In general, not just with the We the People podcast, but Outlaws and the fans and the whole thing. It's extending beyond that, and I can only imagine as soon as I leave out of my hole and go into the sunlight, I'll see it. I'll see it with my own eyes. I'll see how what people are saying this time. And I know Christian Pulisic didn't score, but I think this is a pretty big deal, and it'll be interesting to see how people react.
Yeah. So to see a player go into Azteca with that amount of respect was pretty impressive. And
game changer.
Double teamed at every opportunity. It was a LeBron situation.
Yeah, it was like, we got to shut this guy down or we're fucked.
So Kwame says, I think this was a breakout game for Acosta.
I so agree with that. Thank you for pointing that out.
I love
talking about that. Oh my God, so on point.
Oh,
so on point. It was
really good. He was sound defensively. To me, it felt like the second coming of Jermaine Jones.
Jones he's aggressive. He's aggressive. He's strong. He's a little stylish, But I'll tell you what about with Kellyn Acosta. It was obvious that once he calmed down, and in my opinion, once he got 90 minutes, he was going to show his qualities. He just needed to have an entire game to settle into it. What I loved about his performance was his identifying when Yedlin had gone up in offense and covering that. So he had a few moments where he covered in at right back just at the right time, and that shit is crucial, and it shows awareness and a lot of thoughtfulness from a young man, only 21, even though he looks as old as Josie Altidore does today.
You know who looks old? Hector Herrera. Hector Herrera looks...
you know what?
62.
He does, and that's a baby-faced man. Is it not? Was he not for some? I would have put him in the baby-face category.
He really reminded me of who's the guy who played Hannibal Lecter?
Dude, I have no idea.
The Mexican Hannibal Lecter.
Black hole. He's the Mexican Hannibal Lecter.
Herrera, you need some anti-aging shit. Stat.
Well, aging is beautiful too.
Aging is beautiful too. Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Just ask Brett Favre.
Yeah, just ask Brett Favre. He could have helped us out tonight.
So yeah, great game from Kellyn Acosta. Ty, what'd you see from Kellyn that stood out, and what do you think is his number one qualities that he brings to the team?
Oh man, yeah. A non-answer is that his number one quality is that he is well-rounded. He's like a B+ at everything, and I think he showed that tonight. He had good long passing, good short passing, kept possession well, defended really well. Aside from the goal, he could have done a little bit better on the goal. His set piece delivery was quite.
Ooh, he had one of the Omar Gonzalez misses was just like
just a peach,
scintillating cross. Peach, I'm a fucking peach.
Boink. And he was
put a cherry on it.
Put a cherry, baby.
Eat it with 2 spoons and a friend.
So what do we think of this goal? Because it makes me think. It was Vela out wide. It was a counterattack that went through Chicharito.
Yeah, so this was a Beasley moment, unfortunately. Although, as Stuart Holden was adamant to point out, it was a moment in which someone else probably should have stepped up. But basically, Beasley is shepherding Carlos Vela, who is a late joiner, right, to the squad. So pretty cool to see him score. But he's shepherding him into the inside and hoping for some coverage. And eventually, it just opens up, and he cuts it beneath a couple defenders' legs, which makes it difficult for Brad Guzan, and it goes in. What are you going to do?
Well, so tell me this. In FIFA, when you make a slide tackle, you're basically like horizontal on the ground. Like
yeah, you're a certain amount of pixels wide.
Yeah, you're several pixels are covered completely. And those are the pixels that Carlos Vela shot through. And so
I think that's it. Was
this bad defending or was it good shooting? Because
It was good shooting, and it was perfectly fine defending from DeMarcus Beasley. And I agree that there should have been a little bit more coverage, but that shot is not as a mystical or coincidental as it seems from like a fan perspective or a broadcast perspective. Like it seems like it would be a fucking coincidence that you thread it through two people's legs, but there's actually kind of a way to craft the possibility of that happening by practicing that cutback shot. And when defenders are trying to defend you shuttling across, their legs get very wide. And so it's a common strategy, and you'll see it more often than you'd expect.
The Arjen Robin.
Well, it's not. Well, the Arjen Robin more specifically is like kind of up in the air, upper 90 sort of thing, or he chooses upper 90. This is a little different. Like I'm hesitant to come up with a name of somebody who does it at this moment a lot, but many players do more often than you think. Messi is one of them who does it, but so too is I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. People do this shit all the time. I'm telling you, it's more in the mindset of a striker than you'd think to say, I'm going to cut it back and use these legs as coverage like a Forest.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. And a fine finish from Vela, in the same way that this goal was a fine finish from Bradley.
Fine finish is a fucking underestimation.
So was this a golazo or a massive screw up by Ochoa?
Golazo, I think. I don't think. I mean, it always is a little like, what is the goalkeeper doing? But only when they get scored on, which happens once every 50 fucking games, like in that situation, you know.
Sure.
And the amount of space that Ochoa left for Bradley is minimal. I mean, it had to be a very nice finish.
It was like a 2 foot.
Yeah, this was not like a gimme, like, oh, keeper fucked up, like didn't hustle back fast enough. This was like, whew, precision shit from Michael Bradley.
And the altitude somehow.
Oh yeah, and it was for sure I don't know how they managed to avoid that. Maybe Michael Bradley snapped them the fuck out of it and was like, "We're playing soccer, boys. What are we talking about?"
Something I was thinking during the game was like, I noticed so little difference from the home game in terms of the effort that the U.S. players were putting in and the kind of effect on the game. It seemed minimal.
What do you mean? The difference in effort?
The whole Azteca.
Oh, right, because they're away. No, they played harder than. I mean, fuck a home field advantage if that's what we get. I mean,
right. And then you see people leaving early, and you think maybe Mexico did really have one eye on the Confederations Cup.
I wonder.
Oh, man.
Well, folks, we're going to break this shit all down. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to break this all down tomorrow. We'll shoot it out to you, and the fun just don't stop with this team.
So you can find this on iTunes. Just search We the People.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. If you want to reach out to us, you can hang with us on Twitter at any time at WTP Pod. And if you happen to be listening to the podcast right now, if we use any of this audio, hey, shoot us a 5-star review on iTunes. You dig? Either way. Ty, where do we go from here? What should we do? How should we close this shit out?
Let's see. So we got the Gold Cup coming up. Gold Cup roster is a little bit experimental. We have some intriguing names, including Kenny Saif, my
Israeli baby?
Israeli Poogie baby? Poogie baby.
My Israeli baby. It's your Israeli baby.
So we have some interesting options. We're probably going to see a little bit more progression of the ideas that Bruce has been implementing. But we'll get to see some intriguing personnel. And overall, it's a little bit of a break until we play the next game that really matters, which will be World Cup qualifying, which I think is in September sometime. And then we have 4 more games left in the Hex. We have 8 points from 6 games, so not great. But we have 4 games left. We have 2 at home, 2 away. And if we can come away with 6 or more points, I think we'll probably be through. So we are not, by no means are we in the clear at this point mathematically,
And Bruce Arena knows that. We don't have to remind him. We just got to remind the people and ourselves sometimes. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth celebrating what we've seen in these two games. We got to win against Trinidad and Tobago. We got to tie against Mexico in the Azteca. Nobody got majorly injured except for DeMarcus Beasley 3 times. But everybody knows that's not that big of a deal. He's fine. Yeah. And we got through. No, we managed to avoid yellow card accumulation for any of our players in this period of time. We're in a
is like when you have a cheat code in one of your video games and you just can't hurt.
He's got Game Shark, bro. He's using Game Shark on us.
He's Game Sharking.
He's Game Sharking for sure, dude.
So shall we have some hopes and fears for the summer? We have a summer of building, a summer of preparation, a summer of a little bit of rest, perhaps.
Sure, yeah, folks. We always end the show with some hopes and fears. So let's give that a shot. Let's start with a fear, because I hate to end on any kind of negativity. Sure. So Ty, what's a fear for you?
So my fear would be that the new players suck, like Kenny Saif, who
who's the young Mexican American goalkeeper as well? That's
Jesse Gonzalez. Jesse Gonzalez, I think, is unlikely to actually make the team. I don't think he's at that level, but he might make the team and play a game just to spite Mexico.
Right.
So yeah, I mean he's fine, but I think Saif is a player who really actually could make an impact for the team at a potential World Cup.
Unless he sucks.
Unless he sucks. And so this is his chance to establish himself and get a rhythm going with the team, and impress Bruce. And so yeah, my big fear is that we come out of the summer in the same place that we are. You know, I think we could use some reinforcements and we could use some fresh blood, and these guys will represent that.
Excelente. So I suppose I should do a hope. I that's fun. It's always nice to hope. My hope is for anyone, to step up their hair game and compete with the Bayern Munich of hair on the USMNT right now, DeAndre Yedlin. Because the man is crafted with the frosty tips, and they're shiny, glossy, and perfect every time. And I just want someone. I mean, Ariel, Paulie Nips put in a shift. Yeah, Paulie Nips put in a shift with the hair, but he's not. Paulie Nips is not competing with what DeAndre Yedlin is laying down right now. So that's my hope.
Yeah.
And if is it going to come from this Gold Cup roster? Maybe it's got to come from, a deeper down in the ranks. That's fine with me. I can deal with that.
Maybe it's the U17.
Maybe it's the U17s. I mean, that young Ginger's got a good canvas to work with. You know, there's a lot you can do with that ginger hair, kid.
So let's hope for better hair and better results in the U.S. national team. 8 points from 6 games, not good. Keep in mind, not good. But if we are able to keep it together, get these 4 games on lock, we will go to the World Cup in one of the top 3 places. We will not have to stress and worry and freak out anymore. No more fetal position in the corner. We will be able to do that instead.
No more fetal positions. No more of that shit. No more desperately waking up in the middle of the night wondering.
Join us on the podcast. We'll send out the full recap.
We're gonna break it all down, but for the time being, folks, We the People. To follow us on Twitter at WTP Pod. Join us on the podcast. It's called We the People. Search We the People Soccer, USMNT, all that shit. Review us, help us out, or not. Or just join us, whatever. It's open doors over here. Can I share a little bit about myself?
Do it.
I just adore being given random stickers in public by people who simply want to spread their cause. I'm happy to accept the sticker. I will put that in my pocket, and I will find a use for it, maybe not. Right. Thank you for the sticker, sir. I quite like taking long walks, but not if there's too much downhill. I'd rather go uphill the whole time than downhill the whole time. It freaks me out and it kind of makes me need to pee. Right. And I really love cleaning off a paint roller after painting drywall. It's very satisfying and it's beautiful, but I don't like any of that shit as much as I love the Nats. Let's go, boys.
Good job, boys.
Not so bad.
Not so bad. Well done. Good night, boys. Sleep well. Sleep in your tents.
Go. No more tents, boys. Omar Galaxy is like, I think I need this to sleep. I can't sleep without it now. He's like, I've actually been sleeping in one of these for years.
Yeah, I need to try that.
Yeah, let's give it a shot, dude. And it probably helps with mosquitoes.
Probably does. No malaria, high oxygen. What's to hate?
What's not to like? See you guys.